thanks for having us here today. I want to see if you wanted to tell us a bit about yourself and your work at Victim Support.
Thank you. My name is Geraldine Hanna, and I've been working for Victim Support NI since 2006. I've had a variety of roles in the organisation, but more recently took up the post of Chief Executive in 2015. Before joining Victim Support NI, I worked for Victim Support in England and Wales, so have been working in the victim sector for over 20 years. Victim Support NI is the lead charity providing support to victims and witnesses of all types of crime across Northern Ireland. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, and throughout the years we have worked hard to support the needs of victims and witnesses of all types of crime through a range of frontline services, as well as raising awareness and advocating for improvements to victims' rights and the support available to assist them in their recovery journey.
And can you tell us a bit about the Hate Crime Advocacy Scheme? Why is it significant and what has been its impact?
Well, the Hate Crime Advocacy Scheme brings together the skills and expertise of many of the key agencies working across Northern Ireland to support victims of hate crime. The scheme's funded by the Department of Justice and the PSNI and is currently coordinated by ourselves at Victim Support NI. We work in partnership with Leonard Cheshire Disability, the Migrant Centre and the Rainbow Project. Advocates provide a specialist support to victims of race, homophobic and transphobic and disability-related crime. The scheme aims to reduce the harm caused by hate crime, to address the issues of underreporting, and also to ensure that support is available to victims as they engage in the criminal justice system. Since it's been in operation, victims of hate crime can avail of a dedicated advocate who can listen to their needs and provide a tailored response to those needs. For some victims, this may mean the advocate engaging with the investigating officer to help get an update on the case. For others, it may mean an advocate working with the housing executive to address issues of community safety or improvements that's required to accommodation. The scheme helps to represent the voice and experiences of hate crime victims and serves as an effective lobbying group for victims. Judge Marninan, in his recent review, commended the service and highlighted the vital role that it plays in increasing the engagement of victims of hate crime with the criminal justice system, as well as helping victims to cope with and deal with the effects of crime.
Jerry, what are some of the considerations and barriers to addressing hate crime today in Northern Ireland?
Okay, as a victim support organisation, we recognise that one of the key challenges to supporting victims of any type of crime really is their feelings of lack of physical safety. This is often compounded for victims of hate crime who have very often experienced ongoing or repeated victimisation over a longer period of time, which really does erode an individual's strength and resilience in the aftermath of crime. For many victims, they've been targeted in their own home, which is really where you should feel safest. The need to increase feelings of safety is a particular challenge in such cases, which is why it's essential that we ensure that appropriate support and resources are in place to support that need. Victims who have used the hate crime service have often complained about a lack of confidence in the criminal justice system and also its ability to deal with hate crime. Where cases have been reported in the past, victims often report feeling dismayed that when the case gets to court, there's no sign of the hate element to that crime. Now, Judge Marninan in his review has recognised this as a challenge and has recommended an aggravated model, which means that any crime, such as assault, criminal damage, etc., could have the hate crime aggravator added to it so that that aggravator travels with the case as it progresses through the criminal justice system. We hope that this will help increase victims' confidence, as well as ensuring that where there's a finding of guilt, that hate element is appropriately addressed in the sentencing. We also welcome the addition of new groups who are frequent targets of hostility, such as women and trans individuals, and are pleased with the recommendation to extend special measures to victims of hate crime, such as the use of live link or screens. What we would stress really is that whilst improved legislation may lead to better outcomes for some victims, it will in and of itself not be enough to tackle hate crime and make its victims feel safer. broader measures to tackle the structural causes of hate crime, educate the public, and disrupt or prevent the proliferation of hate crime are key if we're to ensure that our society is safer and a more tolerant place for those with protected characteristics. It isn't solely a justice issue. Like with many crimes, it will require a multi-agency response between statutory bodies such as justice, health, housing, education, communities, as well as active engagement and support of local grassroots groups who can best determine the most effective projects to progress.
And as president of Victim Support Europe, what are some of the issues supporting victims on a regional/global level today?
Unfortunately, Northern Ireland is not unique in our challenges to address the impact of hate crime in our society. And there are concerning rates of hate crimes against LGBT plus communities, Roma community, Muslims and Jews across Europe. There are many laws against hate crime across the European Union and a range of services available for victims. But despite these, a recent report by the EU Agency for Fundamental Rights highlights really that victims aren't reporting hate crime due to many barriers such as perceived discrimination in policing and also a lack of specialist support services. Now, that report emphasises the importance for government to not only ensure that an effective remedy is in place for hate crime, but also that it's exercised in practice. And it really echoes my point earlier about legislation not being enough. We need to ensure that victims feel safe and are protected from further victimisation when they report crimes. So this includes ensuring that there's appropriate resources available to support them, such as our Hate Crime Advocacy Service, which can individually assess a victim's needs and provide that support in a safe and confidential environment. The report also emphasises the important role that social environment plays on a victim's readiness to report a crime. So it's imperative in all of us, whether we're a political leader or a member of the public, that we send out a clear message that we condemn hate crime and we will call it out when we see it. We must also invest in education and public awareness, which will help us address the structural discrimination and practices which underpin our hate crime.
And what are some of the goals you would like to see achieved by the Hate Crime Advocacy Scheme moving forward?
Well, one of the successes of the Hate Crime Advocacy Scheme to date, and one which I hope to see further grow, is the benefit of effective partnerships. It's clear from the complexity of this issue that it's not going to be solved by one group or service on its own. I hope to see the scheme increase its levels of community engagement and liaison with local grassroots groups, which I think will help ensure a proactive response to trends and patterns in local areas. And we also know that hate crime is seriously underreported. I hope that the new scheme, underpinned by sustainable funding, will help ensure a more strategic approach to the scheme, increasing public awareness and helping to give victims really the confidence and ability to report hate crime to the police. I also look forward to seeing the scheme expanded and to grow that service so that we are able to add on other protected groups as recommended by Judge Martin in his review.